Hey, it's Captain Matt, Boat Buyer's Secret Weapon, and today we're talking about a new entry into the pontoon market. It is Nepalo Boats. Now, Nepalo Boats is actually a joint venture, and they're a joint venture from two, let's say, pretty big names in the industries. So the retailer is Gander Mountain Camping World. So they're the company that owns Overton's. So Overton's is the online retailer. It's where I used to buy all of my water sports, my skis, my kidder ski, which I still have, my life jackets, all my gear when I was younger, I would buy from Overton's. I would, got the catalog every month, and that's where my brother and I would just spend hours looking through those. They were purchased by Camping World, which Camping World also owns Gander Mountain Outdoor. If you don't know Gander Mountain, if you don't have one in your area, they are the competitor to Bass Pro Shopping Cabela's. Cabela's. They are owned by Marcus Lemonis. He's a big equity investor. He had a TV show where he would go into small businesses and basically be a private equity company. He would come in, he would help them turn things around. Very, very smart guy. He bought Camping World several years ago and is involved in that. They opened the Good Sam Club, or they bought it, I'm not sure, which is a club for the RV world. So they're getting into, with the purchase of Overton's and now this partnership for the Nepalo Boats, they're getting heavy into the marine segment. They also did a partnership with Nautica fairly recently. I don't remember what the date was, for Overton's to do some Nautica co-branded merchandise, so inner tubes and floats and things like that. So who is going to build these boats? We've got the retail taken care of, right? We got a huge distribution network online, which is interesting to me, and in stores with Gander Mountain. But who's going to build them? Well, Forest River. Forest River, one of the biggest RV manufacturing companies in the country, owned by Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett, from my hometown of Omaha, a big, huge investor, owns Forest River, has owned them for years. Back in 96, Forest River started a marine manufacturing segment, and they are building what brands? Berkshire, Trifecta, and the big one, South Bay. They're the big one in our area. I think each individual portion of the country has one, but they're all three offered all around the country. They essentially build the same exact boats, just put different name tags on them and different branding on them. But they're going to be the ones building this Nepalo line. So an experienced manufacturer, although they're talking Forest River and they'll say we manufacture other brands, but they're not saying the brands, because South Bay, Trifecta, Berkshire are all mid-level to some luxury models. I found that interesting that they haven't really gone into a whole lot. So let's go ahead and look at the Nepalo rollout video. This is a big event that they did. They called it the Land, Water, and RVing Special. The Land, Boat, and RV Special. Anyway, you can see it on the screen. So they're basically rolling out this product in this big internet TV show that they created, where they're introducing a bunch of their products, and it's basically a big promo video. Pretty good. And so what I wanted to do is, I've watched it several times. I wanted to kind of give you my reaction to this video, report on the fact that they're entering the marketplace. This is pretty big news to have this partnership, and they are trying to go head-to-head, toe-to-toe with Sun Tracker and take that market share away. You can tell by some of the things they say. They will, when they talk about the motor, which we'll talk about that in just a second, they really attack the black engine, that ugly black engine, that ugly and hot black engine is the way they talk about it. So they're trying to position this. You can see the diamond stitching. They're trying to position this directly with a few things against that Sun Tracker, which is a very first-time boat buyer type pontoon, entry-level pontoon, and the construction. If you've watched my Sun Tracker review, they build a good boat, but it's an entry-level boat. It's a value boat, which means they cut some corners on material and the way they build it. They have some economy of scales for sure at Tracker with the number of boats that they produce with all of their brands. They have a huge retail advantage with their Bass Pro Shops. And that's exactly what they're trying to replicate here with Nepalo and with Forest River. So if you look, there's a couple of things. I mean, they talk about it. I'm going to pause it here. They talk about it as it's revolutionizing the pontoon world. It's not. It's a value pontoon that they're building to compete directly with somebody that's building a very similar pontoon, but they're trying to make it an upgrade. So luxury is what they talk about. Affordable luxury. The diamond stitching looks great. They do a really nice job with the look and feel of this boat. But there's some things that they've got. It sounds like in the promos, they've got RV people talking about boats, and they say a few things that are just some incredible options that really are standard in today's world. We'll get to that, but nice seat bases. They've got the Rotocast bases that they're putting upholstery over, which is an upgrade to the Sun Tracker. They've got the nice herringbone flooring, which is basically seagrass that most manufacturers are using now. As they talk about everything, you can tell they're directly comparing it to the Sun Tracker and saying that's the industry standard. When you look at the helm, they talk about a reclining backrest, swiveling, the ability to swivel, the armrests versus if you looked at some of the entry level, the 16, 18 foot bass buggies and the Sun Tracker, they've got, I call it like a teacup. It's just a seat, not a tilt steering wheel, very basic, and the wood grain paneling. And what he's talking about here is how much nicer, how much luxurious, and this is all integrated in with the coloring, and it's never been done before. And it's a Bluetooth stereo. Can you believe a Bluetooth stereo in 2022? Well, everything is Bluetooth, and it's a nice looking helm. It does have the tilt wheel, which is great. The diamond stitching, I think, looks really nice. The blue colors looks really nice. It looks like it's a blue and a gray, and it's a very nice pontoon. As you look at it, the sizes that they're offering, it looks like they're just rolling out the double tunes to start in some of the smaller sizes. I think 22 and 24, and the most common layout. So the center walkthrough, which is, they call it the quad lounger. So lounge seats in all four corners and a center gate entry in the front, center gate exit in the rear, and then the quad fish, so 4 fishing chairs, 1 in each corner, and then the traditional L-shaped seating. They talk about their tables, which has that kind of more flush-mounted mount on the floor, so it's not a toe stubber, just a basic plastic table, but I really like that. I hate the way some of them do it, where it really is a toe stubber there, where it's raised up, and I'm sure it's gotten many of toes, but they do some really nice things. One of the things I think is most interesting is the motor. You can see that white motor. If you can tell, it's a Suzuki. So they've partnered with Suzuki to go with the 90 to the 140 horsepower on these. Again, twin pontoons, double tunes. They're not doing tri-toons yet. I would imagine that that's going to roll out soon. Give them something to talk about in their next big announcements after they get the initial rollout done. They talk about the Suzuki being whisper quiet, which the Suzuki is incredibly quiet, just as quiet as the Yamaha and the Mercury, just as reliable. But what's interesting is Suzuki hasn't had many transoms where they're the dedicated engine brand for that manufacturer. So usually Suzuki can be an option, but it hasn't been, up until now, it hasn't been a dedicated, hey, this is a Suzuki boat, that's all you can get. And that's what they've done. So Suzuki has been doing very good in the repower by being quite a bit less, 1,000 to maybe 3,000 less than the Mercury and Yamaha. So they've been really doing well in the repower market. And now it looks as if they're trying to get into that OEM market where they can get on the transom. They can be the, for first-time boat buyers, the first time they're buying a boat, they get a Suzuki, they have a good experience. Next boat, they're going to be more comfortable with Suzuki, and it seems like a smart play for Suzuki to get in with a big retail distribution. They're going to be seen in stores, and it's a sharp-looking pontoon boat. I mean, they've got the tri-rails that they call a D-rail, as well as the just regular fence rail. I'll show you some things about that here in just a second on this section of the video, but it's very smart for that Suzuki to get in with this manufacturer that's going to have a lot of retail presence, get the brand out there, and a manufacturer that has a good reputation. It makes me think, are we going to see the Forest River products, Berkshire, Trifecta, and South Bay, go with Suzuki? Some volume built up. It'll be interesting to see if that happens in the future. But as far as this Nepalo goes, they're doing a great job. Oh, the other thing, Suzuki is doing white engines exclusively on this Nepalo line with Forest River. So they're not going to be offering the white painted engines to any other manufacturers. And it looks sharp. It looks very sharp with the boat, although I don't think the black engines are ugly. I don't think the gray engines are ugly. But with the way the aesthetics are going to match color engines, it's a smart play to differentiate, especially to first-time boaters that are they don't know what to look at in the details, and so they are they look at what they can, and that's the looks of it. So they're also, if you look at the fence rails, this is one area where they're cutting some corners to keep the pricing down, and that is they've got the fence rail with their D-rails and their regular fencing, but they're not bringing that paneling all the way up to the top, which is cheaper. You don't have that much material. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it does leave that exposed a little bit to the elements, to gear, to banging into the docks and potentially getting a rip there. But it's something that the value pontoon manufacturers do to decrease their materials in the boat. So if you listen to this guy talk, you can tell he's not really a boat guy, just by the way he talks about things and the way that they present. It's clear that all they care about is what Sun Tracker is doing as they are coming into the market, which tells you how the rest of the boat is built, as well as the price point. So it's not going to compete with the Barlettas, with the Benningtons, with the Harrises, with the Crests, Manitou, even the Forest River products, South Bay, Berkshire, and Trifecta. They do talk a lot about these splash welds, our splash guards being a big upgrade. In reality, every pontoon in the last 10 years has them on there. They have an 8-foot bimini, which is pretty standard. But it's a sharp looking boat. I mean, the lines especially with the navy color really sets it off. Even on the white, it looks good on there. They do have the nice ski tow bar. But really the big points that they were talking about were reclining seat, the swivel, the tilt wheel, the Suzuki, and the diamond pattern. That's what they're really talking about. They've welded the brackets to the tubes and then bolt the deck to the brackets, which is exactly the way everybody else builds it, except for the ones that use screws and the handful of ones that use the composite material, like Veranda using aluminum, and actually the other Forest Rivers using a true composite. So they really talk about that as being a differentiator, when in reality to me, from what I'm understanding, it's the exact same way 90% of all the other pontoons are built. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And the seat bases are upholstered. I think I mentioned that already. So the one thing that you'll notice is if you watch this video and you're an experienced boater, You'll notice there's no cup holders. You don't see cup holders anywhere. I'm sure that they have there. He's talking about the reclining seat and how great that is, how upgrade. That's a luxury helm seat, which, hey, it's not a high back recliner, but it's a recliner. Will probably hit me, where it hits him on the shoulders, just below the shoulders. Looks to be, pretty good, but in a pretty simple dash. But they're talking about how luxury it is, and it just, to me, it misses the mark on that, on the luxury. But it looks like it could be a very nice, they don't go to much of the construction from the decking down, which is really the important piece. He does say they're 24-inch beams on center. Again, it's the standard that that Sun Tracker uses and most entry-level pontoons use. It's about as wide as you can make them and still be able to offer a decent warranty. But the other manufacturers and the more upgraded models, upgraded manufacturers are going to have them tighter in most places, up to 18 on center, and most of them are doing a variance depending on where on the boat and where the torque is hitting it, where they put the cross members closer together. Just a base ladder. As you're looking at this, 25-inch toons, which again, pretty much the industry standard on most boats these days. But a good-looking boat. My assumption is it's going to be a well-made boat, but not the most durable boat or the best-made boat. And again, they're selling it on a price point, and you'll be able to see that when you look at it. But the big one is the cup holders. Just there's no cup holders on the boat. I'm sure they sell removable ones that you can place in different places, but I didn't see in this whole video and all the videos I've watched, I haven't seen a single cup holder, which, is a little thing, but it's important. When you're on the water, you need a place to set your drink and your waters and your whatever you got in your koozie. You've got to have those things. And when you don't, it's really annoying and it leads to spills. But again, this is a first-time boat buyer boat, and you don't realize how important that is until you're out on the water. So I'm here to help you and say, hey, you've got to at least get the cup holder upgrades. Make sure you figure that into the package price, because you don't want to be on the water all day not drinking anything. You want to drink water for sure. At least have some of that in you. So this is a pretty long video as he goes through it, and it's the boat portion is winding up here. But this is a good, again, sharp looking. They did a great job on the rail and the exterior. 25-inch toons, the Suzuki white motor, 90 to a 140, which is Suzuki's. They go up from the 140. They don't do a 150. Looks like the hardware is decent, but I'll be going to a Gander Mountain. I've got one that's 45 minutes away. I'll be going to a Gander Mountain to check that out when they do come out. So the Nepalo line, my thoughts on it are, hey, they might be able to take a pretty significant share from Sun Tracker. Not only might they be able to take a significant share, is they might give Suzuki a pretty interesting lift into the marketplace. So once you look at that, you can actually, the best thing you can do is you can go to the Overtons, and they'll show you a little video, and then you can sign up to be the first to know. Now, I'm on that list. As soon as more info comes out, you'll hear it from me. If you want to go sign up there, go ahead. And if you're looking for a value boat, you're not a luxury person, you want to get the most boat for your money, could be an interesting option for you. If you're somebody that you're not comfortable driving the Kia, you're not comfortable driving the lowest level model, you're going to get the F-150 Lariat and not the Ford Ranger, then this probably isn't for you. But if you're looking to get the most boat for your money and you want a pontoon, and they're starting with the two toons, maybe it's something to check out, because they're starting at $25,000 for that might be the 18-footer, I think. But again, not a whole lot of information out on it yet. You've got to watch the videos. And, just like the Sea-Doo Switch that I just did a video on as well, is there's some interesting entrants into the pontoon market. And because it's growing, I anticipate seeing probably somebody else try to do something innovative or interesting or enter the market soon. So if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Give me your thoughts. If you happen to have seen one, let me know. I don't know that they're out for just the regular viewing public, but if you know anything about it, drop it in the comments. And remember, life truly is better on a boat.